Tessa from MamasGeeky here. Thank you so much for stopping by my YouTube channel. I'm so excited that you're joining us today.
Wicked.
So excited.
I'm excited to be here.
Oh, I tell you, yeah. I love this show. Joe and I have talked so many times about how this is one of the shows that, like, you never know what to expect with it, which is what I love about it. It just gets crazier and crazier. And then it's like even gets crazier. And you're like, how did this happen?
I was gonna say it's nuts. Even for us in the process, we get just as surprised as you guys do. Like, we get the scripts, episode by episode. We don't know what's going to happen next until, we get to see and read the script. So we go on that journey in the same way the audience does. It's phenomenal. It's great to be a part of.
I just love how they push the envelope over and over and over. And it's so fun. And it's one of the few that knows how to do an ensemble cast, I feel like. I feel like everyone gets their time, which with that many people, it can be hard. You know what I mean? But I love that. I feel like Doom Patrol is like, okay, like, we're going to give this person a story today. We'll do this. We'll do that. And they just do it so well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. And that leads to the last episode, actually, which was Cyborgs. It was really, really heavy on Cyborgs Journey. I really, I'm wondering, and you don't have to answer this, but I'm wondering if the whole removing his armor and all of the grid and everything, is that a hallucination?
Is it a hallucination?
Yes. Can you answer that or no?
Oh, it's real.
Or part of the Dada. Oh, it's real. Okay. I was wondering if it was the Dada Sisterhood. I was kind of hoping, because it's like, no, he doesn't need to lose all of his stuff. You guys don't need to see my dirty room. Okay.
It's for sure happening. It's this is the arc that Vic's been going on, and I think the first kind of trigger was from episode 5, when he's with the Sisterhood of Dada and is first challenged, when he's asked, who are you? Why are you? And he's there left confronting himself, and he's left with the question of who actually are you? And for the first time, he's asked that question, which from that point, he really kind of goes on that journey to self-discovery in the hallucination of, going to see his mother in the afterlife and asking those questions. And for the first time ever, he's challenged to actually realizing that, hold on a minute, I could have been normal. And if I was, what would that have looked like? And he can't bear the knowing and the opportunity to see what that would be like. And so, when he's given the opportunity to see and feel what that would be, it happens, and it's real. It's very real.
Yeah,
it's so crazy. Like, when he shows back up and they're just like, I go in the valley and I'm trying to think of what's happened or not, but I love how they're just like, we don't know what to do with you now. I'm like, poor Cyborg.
Literally.
So what was it like acting without all the prosthetics for the first time?
It was very different. When you've gone especially 3 years of acting with the prosthetics, like, I can't actually see out of the eye in which the mask is over, so I'm acting with one eye all the time. So it was great. It was great to be able to see with 2 eyes, and it's weird because it kind of alters your depth perception, right? Where you kind of you having 2 eyes allows you to see when someone throws you a tennis ball. When you have one eye covered, it feels a lot closer than it actually is, or a lot further away than it actually is. So the first kind of couple of weeks bumping into stuff, but now I became a bit of a veteran at it. But not having that, and then naturally the actual weight of the suit and the actual prosthetics of the glue in my hair, my face, and having this on, it felt very different. And was a great opportunity to kind of to have that released and see what it felt like acting and being with the gang as Vic and without all the prosthetics. Yeah, it's cool.
That's so cool.
I love the part where he goes to like do his canon and they're like, what are you doing?
It's muscle memory. Even the scene when he first comes off of the bed, he goes to touch his face and he realizes his cybernetics are not there, because it's so, you've lived with something your whole life pretty much. It's a huge change. I broke my arm when I was a kid and had the cast on for so long that I even remember trying to touch my arm and, oh crap, it's gone, and for Vic having all of that cybernetic and then being in a position where it's all gone, there's a lot of getting used to.
Yeah. What did you think when you first read that script and you saw like, oh, he's removing it all? Like, what did you what was your reaction, I guess, when you read that?
The first thing was I couldn't believe it. I thought that, like what you just said, Janita, like, is this some kind of dream? Is it some kind of, like, okay, if he's not Cyborg, then what am I doing? Who is he? And I think that those are some of the things in which are so brilliant about our show and our writers' room, where we really get to explore things that haven't been explored before. You haven't seen this in live action, and you haven't seen, Vic being who he is. And the first time was like, wow, okay, are we going to do this? And we get briefed at the beginning of the season as to what the arc is going to be and the kind of general flow, but we have no idea on the specifics. So when I'm getting told Vic is going to go on a journey challenging himself as to who he really is, and what it means to be Black and what it means to be Cyborg, the last thing I'm expecting is that he's actually going to rid of his cybernetics. I didn't even know it would be possible,
Right.
And so it was wild. Yeah, I'm still now, and I'm still kind of waiting to see where this whole thing is going to go.
Yeah, I think that the audience too is. I'm moving to where you can get light, where you guys can see me. Hi. I think the audience is I think they appreciate, kind of see him stripped down. It seems more like he's stripped down. He's raw. He's himself. Especially after the episode with his mom, the emotions, and now he's physically stripped down. So, what are they going to do? I mean, well, you don't have to, you probably can answer it, but I'm willing to be like, why? You've got him raw. You got him just literally naked almost. What is the end game for Cyborg in this season? Can you give us a hint? Maybe?
Yeah, in terms of the end of the season, I think he's just come into him, right? Into himself. And like the great thing is about even being an actor on this show is that I'm in the audience's seat just as much as you are, in terms of I have no idea where we're going to go with it, and I won't know until we start getting the first few episodes of the next season. But I do know that he is now understanding and coming to terms with the decision that he's made, and he's exploring what it actually means. We see when he tries to get out his cannon, and he's coming to terms with what he's actually done. But at the same time, he's thrilled about being able to live in his own skin and be himself. We touched on this even in season 1 when he goes on the dating app and he goes on Cash and he tries to find a date, and he's just so upset with himself that he can't be normal, and now he's going to get to explore these things. And I've tried to do a really strong job at having Vic at the forefront always, right, in terms of who Cyborg is, and there have been iterations of the character, but for me what really fascinates me is that we know that he's a cyborg. We can see that face value, but bringing forward the human side of him and connecting with us as an audience. I loved Teen Titans when I was a kid. That's what I really connected to, right? And seeing the Cyborg in Cartoon Network in the UK, I loved him because he was just like one of my friends. He was just like one of us, and I could see the human side of him, and I've tried to really kind of push that forward. So now that he's lost his cybernetics, there isn't, other than what you see visually, I'm hoping that there isn't a world of a difference, because I've tried to be at the forefront of maintaining Vic before Cyborg and allowing him to keep and hone in on his humanistic features and elements, both physically and mentally and emotionally.
I think you're doing a great job of it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. It does feel like it's like he's physically different, but that's it. He's still the same guy, and hopefully eventually the team will realize that, and he'll be able to I'm sure he'll find things he can bring to the table. One thing I loved about this season is it feels like, and having seen the finale already, and this is going to air before that, so I'm going to be very careful with my words, but it feels like this episode is a whole lot of like redemption, right? Second chances is a lot of that. And I feel like, Vic gets his second chance of, he gets to be himself, right? This is what he wanted when he found out. I mean, in that episode, when he found out, wait, there was a other option. I loved that episode because it just felt like, I don't know, you did such a good job of, I'm trying to think of the best way to describe this, but like you could tell in his head, he was like mad, like so angry, but still like battling with, is that something he'd want to do? Is it not? Like, would he still be the same? I just love that. I think you played him so well. You do every season, but this season particularly, it like really felt a connection with him and just his struggle. And I love that this season feels like for everybody second chances. Everyone's kind of getting their moments.
Yeah, I also feel, even just alluding to the finale, like one thing is that Vic doesn't lose is his heart. Like as much as he loses his ability to be able to physically be the superhero to Vic is much more than just what he can do physically. It's his heart, it's his will to help, and I love that about him. And that shines through in our finale, and it's a great opportunity for us to be able to experience the superheroism in a different way, and it just in terms of what you were saying about his connection and his battle between having a choice of realizing there was another option. Vic just wanted the opportunity, like when someone comes to you and they say, look, you can have PB&J sandwich and that's it, but you didn't get the option to have a ham sandwich. Sometimes, even though you were still going to pick the PB&J, you just want the option. And that's what he's struggling with his father, the fact that you didn't even give me the option. There was another way. This whole time I felt like, and I thought that there wasn't another way. And you're telling me that I could have looked normal and you still did this to me. And it just kind of really brings a crescendo to this relationship, this battle that we've seen between Vic and Silas since season 1.
Yeah, the Vic and Silas thing just kills me too. The relationship when Silas was the cowboy, the imaginary friend, I'm like, oh, we've got some serious daddy issues here. It goes deeper than any of us knew. But yeah, I love that they're bringing out the father. I love you mentioned that, because the father-son relationship has been so rich in this in this show, and I think it kind of mirrors the Cyborg arcs in the comics, not the Doom Patrol comics, but the Teen Titans, the Titans comics, because he has this complex relationship with the idea of his father and his father, the actual guy. So I'm glad they brought that over.
That's a lot of the materials that I was able to draw from, because naturally you're looking at the Doom Patrol and there is no Cyborg, and so but the materials that I drew from were Teen Titans, were Cyborg, were Cyborg Rebirth 52, and taking all of those materials, as well as what I've seen visually in any other live action or cartoon animation iteration of the character, to be able to draw from. And it's great to be able to have a show which still feels so ensemble, still kind of, pushes Vic into that world, but at the same time, you can still see a very clear arc and a very clear through line for what we see with Vic in the comics and what we see with Cyborg. So it's a bit of best of both worlds, which is great.
Yeah, and I think I need to repeat that, because I think a lot of people who don't read the Doom Patrol comics, they don't know that there's no Cyborg in the Doom Patrol in the comics. There's Dr. Brown, I think his name is, but no Cyborg. So and when I saw them put Cyborg in the Doom Patrol, I'm like, okay, let's not do a little bit of tokenism here, just throwing in a random black guy. But like you said, your story's so rich, and it feels like you belong. So I mean, it even gets me thinking, okay, he's a part of the Doom Patrol, and I have to remember, no, he's not. In the comics, this is a totally for the TV show. So I really love that you're kind of rewriting canon here. How's that feel?
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, it's new, it's fresh, and it's brave as well. My hat goes off to the Room Patrol, our writers room, who do such a great job at just being so brave. And we've seen, from just the world of the show, how brave and wacky and wonderful it is, and still being able to get that heart and that relatability with all of that madness. And at the same time, it being a superhero show and feeling like a superhero show, but at the same time, it feeling like just this character driven world. And they didn't, shy away from these themes. And when I even heard what we was going to be tackling with, even the race issue and Vic and what it means to be black, and, Vic seeing his past and trying to get a black superhero toy, and that kind of, ascending to what, like all of that stuff, are things that would be, frowned upon, or things that, we can't touch that. But we go right in, and we've really been unapologetic with it, which as a creative, I fall in love with. So yeah, it's a dream being on this show and just being a part of this world. And yeah, I'm so glad that you guys enjoy it just as much as we enjoy creating it.
Yeah,
it's
I
so
love it.
fun.
Love it.
Like,
Yeah.
I love this show. It's one that it's funny because in all honesty, and I've admitted this before, I didn't watch season 1 until season 2 was coming out. And people were like, no, you have to watch this show. And I was like, really? Like, it looks so weird. They're like, no, dive in. And then I started season 1 like a week before season 2 was coming out. And I was like so excited that I didn't have to wait for season 2. I was like, yes, this show is so good. Like, how did I miss out on this show, you know?
Yeah.
And now I've revisited it a few times and told people like, no, you guys have to watch this. Wait till you see some of this stuff. Like,
amazing.
It's crazy, but it's so good. Like we mention the sex ghosts all the time. We're like, how did that happen? Like, they're just hanging out at the mansion.
That's like that's like half the shit that happens. Is like, yo, how, like, where did you guys even think of this? How did you guys even think of this? How, like, the most
and the where butts
things,
yeah,
where butts.
Where
it's got to the point where it's literally like anything can happen, you know, and that's the joys of it. And you know, even when we get to team up with Willoughby Kipling and fight butts, and like when we saw that episode, I was like, what? And it's like, but and zombies, the zombie episode, I love the zombie episode because it was like, it was so far away from anything we've ever done, and also it was an opportunity for us to be our characters but also play other characters, you know, and be these zombies. And it's wacky, it's wonderful, it's the Doom Patrol, man.
I know. Yeah. I was like, of course there's zombies. Like, this makes perfect sense because it's Doom Patrol. So
why not?
Sure. Why not? It was so great. I love it.
What would you like to see coming up in future seasons of the Doom Patrol? Are there any villains or anybody you want to work with? Yeah, go ahead.
What I'd like to see is I would so I'm in a rug and a hard place because I love the character driven stories that we get and the development. But I can't help but look at the Doom Patrol, you know, post our current Doom Patrol and the old Doom Patrol, and see them as a superhero team. And really, you know, banding together and finding ways that we can actually explore that world where, you know, fast forward to when those powers have been developed by all of the characters, and they are actually able to go on missions and be the band of misfits to actually, you know, go out and fight evil, and evil presents itself, and these big bads that we get in these different episodes are a blast, and we find our way through, and you know, the fact that we always come back around is us defeating whatever those odds are, but usually through some kind of heart and, you know, and character driven opportunity. But I'd love to just kick some ass as a team, you know, and like those moments, like when we're all in the heart and we're all fighting the butts in the barn with Willoughby, like that, those moments gave me moments of like, even as we're shooting it, more of this, you know. So yeah, I'd love to find that balance and see that world. But at the same time, it's a hard place because I just love the character-driven elements that we get, and even selfishly as an actor, that's what drives me and what makes me love being a part of this show, to be able to play a superhero, but we're diving into real issues, and it's really character-driven and about so much more than just being a superhero.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of that, like, go back to when you first got told you got this role. How did that feel? Like, you're going to be a superhero. That's cool.
Yeah, it was incredible. It was a dream, to be honest. I had always wanted to play a superhero. After I did The Purge, I messaged my agents and said, look, like, I did this stunt scene, right, in The Purge, and my director was like, man, you a superhero, man. You gonna play a black superhero, bro. And I literally went home and I tried to manifest that. I sent an email to my agent, to my management team, and said, look, the director Gerard said I'm going to be a superhero. So whatever's out there going right now, like, keep your ears to the streets because I want to play a superhero. And literally, you know, that same project that The Purge came out, and that's where I was spotted by Greg Berlanti, who cast me as Cyborg. So yeah, it was a real kind of full circle of manifestation, which was amazing. And yeah, I'm living every day a dream. It was.
I love that you manifested it. I love that it was a manifested dream come true. I love that. I love it.
Thank you.
And coming from The Purge, I mean, Doom Patrol, right? That's so appropriate for the show. I mean, coming from The Purge and all that madness to, you know, the Manor. I mean, it seems fitting. It seems fitting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So. Sure. No, thank you.
So what's it like?
Oh, you go ahead, Joe.
No, I was just gonna say, what's it like working with that group, the actors? First of all, you've got so much talent in the room. What's it like working underneath all of those people? Some of them, pretty seasoned actors in there.
Yeah, it's amazing. First of all, it's a real family. Like everyone, like the chemistry that you see on screen is exactly how it is like in real life, with us as actors. And that being on a show, I couldn't imagine it being any other way. Spending so much time with these people that you grow to love so much, and that family, and as an actor, that you're constantly performing, you're constantly imagining, but we can't deny that the realism, and you take a part of yourself to every character. So that part of ourself that loves each other as castmates comes through when we see these band of misfits come together. And then just being able to work with just these veterans, like Timothy Dalton, who was James Bond. Like, come on, like this stuff is like, the man's been doing this for so long, and you're on set and you're seeing him do certain things, and you're like, wow, this is a new thing, a new string to my bow, something I can add to my arsenal, something I didn't see happening. And then Alan Tudyk, and even this season with Michelle Gomez, and these are all seasoned veterans that we get to work with, and you learn so much from, and you gain so much experience that makes you a better actor, that makes you a better performer. And I've learned things throughout the seasons that even has helped me grow even within the show as an actor. And so it's phenomenal. And then on top of that, being with Diane, with April, with Matt Zuck, with Riley, with Matt Bomer, with Brendan Fraser, like even Brendan, like I'm watching The Mummy, Georgia, all these movies that I'm like, when I'm just a kid watching these things, no idea one day I'm going to be working alongside this guy. So yeah, it's amazing, man. It's a real dream, and everything that I get from this show, I'm so grateful for, because I feel like it's, I am now getting equipped for any other work that I do in the future, and we get to do so much and learn so much, from the character development to the stunts to the wacky world to how big the set is and all of these things, that I'm getting really equipped to deal with anything in the future and help my performances and as I build as an actor. So yeah, it's amazing.
That's exactly what I was going to ask, Joe.
Oh.
I was going to ask just about like Brendan coming in, because he's not there a lot, right? It's because he does like voiceover stuff, right, for Robot Man. So but he feels like he was in this season a little bit more than usual. So I was going to ask about getting to actually work with him more in person.
Yeah, it's amazing every time we get to link up in person. Like the only time that we get to work together is literally when you guys see us on screen together, or in an episode that he's in as Brendan. And so yeah, it's very rare, and so when we do get those moments, even with Matt as well, with Matt Bomer, they're very rare moments, and so we do cherish them, and it's amazing. Like episode 8 was a dream to have everyone. It's the first time we've had everyone together on set at the same time, and everyone together in sharing one scene. Like we have days where Matt's in and he's doing a scene, or Brendan's in, he's doing a scene, and we're passing or whatever it is, or he's just finished off something, so I'll see him and we'll spend a couple of hours just being able to jam. But that was the only time, episode 8, I believe, that we've actually ever been in a scene together with all of us. And so it was magical. We're all sitting in that tent and we're like looking at each other like, yo, isn't this crazy? Like, isn't this beautiful? And we're looking at the director, looking at the producers like, yo, more of this, please. So
yes, please. I'll take it.
It's amazing to work with these guys. And yeah, when Brendan comes to set, he just brings he is the man, you know what I mean? He's just so funny, and yeah, just lights everything up. But I do have to give a huge shout out to Riley and Matt Zuck, who are in these suits and playing these characters on an everyday, who bring these characters to life. And it's like an illusion that people believe that when they're performing, that it's they're just kind of doing the actions or whatever. No, like they're actually in this, as if we took those tapes what we recorded on the day, like that could still be the show, you know, because they're putting their all into everything, and we're in these scenes, and they're giving a real strong guide even for Matt and for Brendan. And so yeah, like those guys do a phenomenal job, and their physical acting is phenomenal because you can't even see them, and they convey such emotion and such, you know. So yeah, man, it's a band of brothers and sisters together trying to create something magical.
I love it, because I was going to ask, they must do the lines when you're filming, right? Even though they're in
yeah. And it's not just the lines. It's not just like a line read. Like it's like, because we need to get from them what we're going to get, or what you're going to see or hear from Brendan and Matt on the day, to the point where it's got to be 100, as if this is going out. So yeah, it's amazing.
It's impressive.
Okay, so I have one burning question that's away from this conversation. It's actually kind of silly, but you know, it's Doom Patrol. Okay, so when this is a scene y'all were playing kind of ping pong with I don't know, the baby. What were you hitting actually in real life? I mean, I know it wasn't her, it wasn't Laura baby. It was an Laura thing. I don't even know what to call it. But what were you hitting in real life? Were you hitting like a ball, or it looked like it was a little ping pong game starting?
Right there. Hitting oxygen.
Oh, air. Oh my
really?
gosh. Okay.
Yeah, so we get told, you know, what's happening. Okay, so yeah, Madame Rouge is coming around and the swing's coming. She's gonna come around the bend, and 3, 2, 1, she's there. You know, and then when it's on the table, all right, cool, and we're just imagining that she's there. So everything, if you was to see the footage before you get to see what's imparted, it's just us, me and April, literally just hitting nothing.
That is impressive, because I thought, you know, they have to be connecting with a ball or something, because these swings look so real. You know, they don't look like you're just swatting the air randomly. But yeah, I mean that speaks to your skill, I guess. Yeah, it does. It was a really good scene.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
I was like, what is happening here? I like how, Joe, you're like, you're obviously not hitting a Laura baby. Yeah, they clearly that would have been something.
Yeah, for sure.
So our time's almost up. I do want to know what your favorite scene or episode, or maybe even season was for the show.
My favorite, I couldn't give you an overall. It'd be too difficult. Season 3 has been my favorite season, for sure. It's just, I feel like the seasons have just got better and better as they've gone on. My favorite episode within this season would be episode 4, 5, and 8. And in previous seasons, season 1, I would say my favorite episodes 2 and 5, my entrance, and then I loved episode 5 also. And season 2, I just loved the journey with me and Ronnie, and my whole arc with Karen Oberlin was just amazing. So yeah, that's what I kind of say. But yeah, it's so difficult to sum it up.
They all have something special to them.
They do. Thank you.
It's so great. I love the show. I mean, I think it's so fun. Like I said, I totally came into it late. I was like, what have I been missing? I can't believe I totally missed out on the show.
Yeah.
I love it. I can't. I know, right? You're right. I thought it was so fun. And then like we talked about it before, but the zombie episode was like one of my all-time favorites, because I love zombies. So I'm like, whenever you can bring zombies into something, and I just love that. I was like, of course they turned into zombies because they died. This makes perfect sense that they're now zombies.
That's it. Yeah, no, it was a bunch of fun. But thank you guys. I appreciate you guys tuning in, watching, and your love. I feel it through the screen. So I really appreciate it, and taking your time to chat with me today. So yeah, you're amazing. Thank you.
Well, thank you for taking the time. Seriously, we're excited. I can't wait for everyone to see this interview. And of course, the finale, which I've watched a couple times already. And I'm like, it's sad, though. It's always sad when a season comes to an end, isn't it? Like
It is.
But it's coming back. So
Exactly.
You know?
So
good news. That's great news. That's great news. Yeah.
Excited for more crazy Doom Patrol.
That's it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you.
Thank you so much to all of my monetary supporters, my members here on YouTube, as well as my patrons. If you haven't joined yet, please consider doing so. We have some really awesome perks, including a monthly Zoom meeting where we get to talk face to face Thank you again to everyone who supports me.